Hey Minnesota Viking fans, so today was the season opener of the Minnesota Vikings facing off against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and guys, this was a close match throughout. I mean, it was a thriller to say the least. First of all, the game starts with, Adrian Peterson getting a standing ovation. I personally thought that Adrian Peterson would just do a few plays to show everybody that yes, he is indeed fine. He went beyond and above the Call of Duty here in this game. Not only getting the Viking franchise record for rushing yards, but also getting a pair of TDs in the process, showing everybody that Adrian Peterson still got it. He is still a playmaker. He is just an elite football player for the Minnesota Vikings, and all of the land of 10,000 lakes can take a deep breath in knowing the comfort that Adrian Peterson is back. In this game, the Vikings started out kind of sluggish. They couldn't find a spark or any kind of momentum. I really thought for sure that Jacksonville Jaguars were going to pounce over this and just kill us. Luckily, our defense, although they got very winded in the first half, they were able to hold off on some key moments in this game to keep the game close. Luckily, the Minnesota Vikings came back right at the end of the first half to just go downfield and to get a 9-7 score to go in halftime, letting the Jaguars know that the Vikings were not going to just take this lying down. So come in the second half, the game is a back and forth motion. There's turnovers on each side, on one each if I remember correctly. But the thing is, Christian Ponder, what an improvement from the first half to the second half. Where Blaine Gabbert, the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he looked incredibly sharp throughout the entire match. He came in focused, ready to go, and he was just absolutely amazing. There's hardly any mistakes that he made. And talk about great determination and skill on third down conversions for the Jaguars. I mean, that is what really killed us, the Minnesota Vikings, early on. I was really concerned that the Vikings could not stop the third down conversions, and that's how we would have been defeated. Luckily, the Vikings were able to put a little bit more pressure on later in the game to able to slow the Jaguars down a bit. And the thing with Christian Ponder is that in the first half, really didn't look that confident, didn't look that strong, with the exception of that last drive in the first half. But in the second half, he just came back over and over. Just everything was clicking. It was absolutely phenomenal is what Christian Ponder did. He went 20 for 27, 270 passing yards. Now, unfortunately, he did not get a touchdown, but it has to be said, he didn't get an interception either. The point is to get downfield and score points in any way you can. Christian Ponder did that with style. It doesn't matter how many points, how many touchdowns he gets, or how many passing yards he gets, as long as he can get downfield and get points up on the scoreboard. Christian Ponder just delivered in the clutch in this one. But as great as Adrian Peterson was, as great as Christian Ponder was, guys, the game has to go to Blair Walsh, the kicker, number 3. Last year, when they got rid of our main kicker, I thought that was a huge mistake. I mean, why would you do this? Don't get me wrong, I didn't think that this new kicker would be bad or anything, because I didn't know who they were going to go with. But seeing this new kid come in and what he did in preseason, I was really impressed. And today, he just routed me by leaps and bounds. He went 4 for 4, getting the game-winning, or I should say the game-tying field goal with 4 seconds left. And he kicks it from 55 yards out. And to tie it, to make it 23-23, send the game into overtime. And that wasn't enough for Blair Walsh. When we went into overtime, we got the ball, we marched downfield. Again, Blair Walsh making his 4th attempt at a field goal. Again, completing it. This guy was just so confident. His accuracy was pinpoint. The distance was not a problem. Even on the 55-yard field goal, he still delivered, which helped the Vikings get a 26-23 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. As a Viking, this is exhilarating. It's a jolt of energy, a sense of there's hope, it's a new season. I'm really excited to see what happens this year. Now, saying these things, there are a few problems the Vikings need to work on. First of all, they gotta be more prepared when game time comes. Because in the very first quarter, they were really sluggish. They went off to a good start. And they gotta make sure to keep the defense rested, because they got really winded in that first half. The second half, it was better. They made adjustments during halftime. It was really good to see that, but those adjustments need to be made in order for the Vikings to be more effective, because there are other teams that can definitely pounce over the Vikings if they let that happen again. And when you compare Blaine Gabbert to Christian Ponder, they were both great quarterbacks. They did a phenomenal job. I do feel bad actually for the Jaguars because it was such an emotional loss. Not just because it's in overtime, but with 20 seconds left in regulation, the Jaguars go ahead with about a 30 or 40 yard touchdown pass, and I tell you guys, I was furious. As a Viking, I was cussing at the TV. I was just completely destroyed. Because I had been down this road so many times over and over again, especially in the past few years. I'm thinking that's it's all over. But Christian Ponder just came back. He drove us downfield in a short amount of time, and Blair Walsh kicking that 55-yarder. Absolutely amazing. It gave me chills, and just to win it in overtime was just thrilling. For the Jaguars, they played a great game. Blaine Gabbert can easily be a great quarterback in the future. It hurts to see you work so hard and just to come up short. But at least they had a chance, in which made this game exciting no matter what team you're rooting for. This was a great game, and probably could be a game of the week contender. Minnesota Vikings start off with a great season opener, win in overtime, 1-0. Finally, the 2012 season has started, and I'm really looking forward to see what is going to happen. But it's just good to know that Adrian Peterson, he's back. Christian Ponder, he's grown. He has more experience. The guy has improved greatly compared to last season. The defense, they're able to correct the mistakes they've made. And Harvin, oh my goodness, I forgot to mention Harvin here. I'm wearing his jersey, by the way, number 12. He was absolutely unstoppable, not only by rushing and receiving. I remember, if I remember this correctly, he got over 100 offensive yards. He was a huge playmaker. He's a huge reason why we got down the field as much as we did. Percy Harvin, I love you, man. You had a great game. Great job overall for both teams, and just an amazing game for the Minnesota Vikings. But the road to the rest of the season, it's going to get harder as the season goes along. The Vikings do need to make some improvements, but today, a great first start. A lot of energy, a lot of good, positive energy for the Minnesota Vikings and the Minnesota fans. And with that, the Minnesota Vikings are undefeated, 1-0. It feels good, it's awesome, and the 2012 season has officially begun.